what is microservice architecture?
The monolithic means it is like all the modules. It's a like huge application. All the modules will be available in the same code base. So microservice architecture means so we will divide each module into one microservice, so that the deployment will be easy and the testing will be easy, and independently we can work on the microservices. It supports with the cloud, so that client preferred. So this basically this is a monolithic application only. So we are converting it to microservices.
Okay, so it's kind of a migration,
Yeah,
from
migration.
monolithic to micro.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so total is there are 10 modules, right? I think you said 10. Right?
8 microservices were there. Yeah.
Okay. So, so how you authenticate or authorize a user in this microservices?
Is authentication this logic we have it in the gateway itself, because every microservice has to write this authentication logic, right? So that will be like duplicating the code. So so the Apple preferred they are all having the central configuration of security in the gateway itself. I did not work on that security part. Yeah, but as far as I know, so they have all configured it in the gateway, Joule Gate. So they were using Netflix Joule gateway.
Okay, so how they are managing the load here? So what thing are you using for load balancer here?
Yeah. So for load balancing, we are using a ribbon. Spring Cloud ribbon is there, right? We are using that Spring Cloud ribbon, and for service discovery we are using Eureka, Spring Cloud Eureka we are using. Yes.
Okay. So have you used Hystrix?
Hystrix. For resilience feature we have used. We have written fallback methods in case the service is down, right? So it will fall back to that method, and whatever the logic is there, that logic will get executed whenever there is any service down. Yeah.
Okay. So for example, like I need to check the health of your application. So what do you need to do for that?
Yeah, so currently we were using Spring Boot actuator starter. So using that we can check all the health and metrics of the microservice. And now they are migrating. They are planning to migrate it to Prometheus. I'm not exactly sure about that, but they are planning to migrate. So there were.
Okay. Okay. So you have worked with GCP and AWS, right? You have worked with both of them?
I did not work on any project, so I have some knowledge on that. So there were some. For my own purpose, I have explored this AWS and S3 object storage and creating the EC2 containers, and there is a network configuration, right? So I just explored myself for my knowledge purpose. I have explored, but I did not work on the project. Yeah.
Okay, in AWS. So same thing with the GCP, right?
Yes. I just have some knowledge, but I do not have project experience on that real-time experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you worked with the databases like? Do you write queries, something like that?
Yes. Actually, currently we are using MongoDB for this project. Actually, from last 4 years I was using MongoDB. Yeah. Before that, for some of the project in my previous company, I have used Oracle as a DB. Yeah.
So can you tell me what is the advantage of using MongoDB in your project?
MongoDB. Yeah. So ours is. It is prone to structural changes. Actually, we may have addition of new fields or removal of existing fields. So there is a prone to structural changes. So if we go for any relational database, right, so it will be like tables and all, right? So let's say if we wanted to add any field to the table, right, so it will impact entire application itself. So that's why they have preferred MongoDB over the relational database. Yeah.
Okay. So what dependency you use for MongoDB? You use Hibernate or something other? other thing.
Sorry,
Right.
JPA, or
Yeah, have you used JPA or something else for MongoDB like connections, or
yeah,
you
we are
wrote a
using
connection?
yeah, we are using Spring JPA actually here, or as a ORM.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. So you have not used Hibernate, right, for this
Hibernate
MongoDB?
I did not use. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, in MongoDB. So you did the connection using the, Spring JP and with some Mongo plugins, right?
Yeah, so we have created this repository classes, MongoDB repository, right? So we have extended it from all the classes. All the repository interfaces extended from those MongoDB repository classes, and we have implemented our own methods in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you have worked with JPN and relation database, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how to create an entity in this thing for the tables, right?
Yeah. So we can have at the rate at entity annotation, and yeah. So if the table name is different, we can have at a table, and there we can have the table name. Otherwise, it will take that class name as a table name, and mainly in entity class we have at the rate columns, at the rate column tags we have, annotations we have, and at id for primary key. Yeah, these things.
So like I need to make UUID as my primary key. So how do you know how you can do that?
So we
Yeah.
can have this generation strategy. I think something for UUID we need to select something. There is a sequence, and there is, I think, there is some UUID configuration also there at a generation strategy in that annotation. We can configure that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like for example, like I have a class like employee, and then there's an address. So I need to create a one-to-many kind of relationship between that. So
Yeah.
how will you do that?
So we can have employee entity and then address entity. So that address entity we will map it in the inside employee entity using one-to-many relationship, because employee can have multiple addresses, right? So and we can join that at one-to-many annotation we can have on it. Yeah.
So by default, what type of strategy you use for fetching? If you go for an eager or a lazy one?
We prefer lazy.
Okay, can you tell me why?
Because for the performance, let's say there are we have a talent entity, and also we have a requisition entity. Okay, talent can apply to multiple job positions, right? So if we preferred eager initialization, right? So then it will load all the requisitions tied to the talent as well. So if there are more, right, then it will be a performance issue. So
Okay, so suppose you have defined as a lazy, like suppose like my previous example, like employee and address. I fetch the details of an employee. So how you get the details of the address? Since if you are using lazy, I won't get in the first query itself, right? So how will you do that?
Not sure, Vishnu.
Okay. So you have worked in Spring Boot, right? So suppose okay, do you know what is address controller annotation does?
At REST controller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell me that?
Controller is a combination of at controller and at response body annotations. So all the request and response will be serialized and deserialized serialized into JSON format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, for serialization, deserialization, what is the package it uses for in the Spring Boot? Which package it is using for that?
I think
Or
it's
which
Jackson.
piece is it?
Yeah, Jackson library.
Okay. Okay. Suppose like like I want to return response and as an XML. So how I can do that
Yeah,
instead of
so
JSON?
in the method we can have this annotation produces, it produces annotation. There we can make that as application dot XML, application content type application or XML, that content type we can give, so that it will return in the format of XML.
Okay, so
Okay.
okay, you know what is the function of application class in Spring? What is the role of application class? Like when you create a Spring Boot application, then there will be a class, right? Application class in which you have annotated at Spring Boot application.
yes,
So
yes.
you know what is the role of that?
Basically it will initialize all the, I mean it will scans through all the components, scans through all the packages for components, and then create the beans, and it will enable all the auto configuration classes, and it will start the server and then deploys it.
So actually, how it will know that you need to scan all the components? So how that application will know?
Yeah, so Spring Boot application is a combination of configuration and enable auto configuration and component scan. So there we are, I mean, if we wanted to, scan through some specific packages, then we can include that package name there in the component scan base packages attribute. Otherwise, whatever the current package, where that application class is there, right, the package name, from that package name it will scan through all the sub packages. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So do you know what is the difference between at component, at service, and at repository annotations?
This is at component and at service. Those both are same. Their functionality is same. It will create the bean. Only for the convention purpose. To represent that service layer, we will have this service annotation. And at repository have extra functionality, like so it will whenever there is any DAO exceptions in the DAO layer, right, that will be cached and wrapped into Spring exception classes and then throws.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Actually, I lost your voice. I was not able to hear it, so that's why.
Okay. I'll repeat it one more time.
Yeah.
So at repository has extra functionality, like so whenever there is any DAO layer exceptions, right, it will catch it and wrap it into Spring exception classes, and then it will throw. Whereas service and component both are they are of same functionality. It will create the bean, and it will create the bean. But only for the convention purpose, to represent that service layer, we can use at service annotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you used a transaction annotation?
If we have multiple tables and we are updating into multiple tables, right, from the DAO layer, so if there is some exception arises, no, so then it will roll back the entire transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, like suppose I have a request to the database, like it is taking more than some time. So how will you actually roll back that using transactional?
There we can give some timeout, I guess, somewhere. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, suppose like in my application, like I have I need to create a bean of same object. But so how will you do that? I have to create a bean of same object multiple times, but I don't need to create any error for that. So how will you do that?
Yeah, so we can have the scope as prototype, so that every time it will create the new bean, new object, and then returns.
No, actually that's the not like that. Like I need to create like I'm creating a same class with a component thing. So same type of class. So I object, same type of object. So I need to just to like okay, for example, like I have a
Yeah, I understood. I
database
understood.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two connection, but I don't need to. I didn't identify the whole both different. It's a type are same, but I need to identify the thing. So how will you do that?
So basically, you are saying so there are multiple implementations of that interface, and then sometimes we need some implementation, and then sometimes we need other implementation, like right?
Oh yeah, you can say like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, we can have the set qualifier annotation, and then so whatever the bean name we have read, that we can give. So with that bean name, it will fetch that object and then returns that implementation object. It will returns that qualifier annotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how auto wiring works in the Spring?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me that?
Yeah, so basically there are different types of injections. I mean, constructor injection or setter injection. So yeah, so it will. I mean, setter injection means it will use the setter methods to inject that bean. And constructor injection means it will use the constructor of the task to inject the bean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you worked with Spring MVC?
I have an idea.
Okay, so you know what is MVC architecture, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what is front controller?
Front controller, yeah. So basically in Spring we have the request dispatcher that acts as a front controller, where all the requests will be coming to this front request dispatcher, and using the yeah, all the requests will be coming to this front controller, and from there it will come to the controller based on that URL pattern. It will come to that controller, and then from there it will have the service layer invoked, and from there repository layer, and then we'll get the data and as a response. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what is auto proxying in Spring?
Auto proxy.
Auto proxy. Okay. Okay. Suppose have you used any for your like you are working in a microservice services, so for a controller, suppose you need to handle some exception globally, so how you do that? Have you done something like that?
Yes. So we are using global exception handling only. So we can make some classes. I mean, we can create one class and annotate it with at controller advice, and then in that class we can have the methods defined, and then for method we can have annotated with at exception handler, and in that we can give the type of the exception class name, so that whenever in the application that exception arises, right, so it will call this method, and whatever the error response implementation logic will be there, right, so it will execute and return as a response.
Okay. So okay. So have you worked with any project like you need to refactor it or reorganize the whole project? Have you done something like that?
Sorry, refactory.
So suppose you have some project like you need to refactor or optimize the whole code. Have you done something like that? Okay. So you have worked with collections, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So which all collections you have used?
We have used like array list, hash set, linked hash set, linked list, and hash map we have used. Yes.
Okay. So you know what is the internal working of a hash set?
Hash set, yes. So hash set it will not store in any order, and it will not allow any duplicates. Okay. So whenever so it will find the duplicates using the hash code method. Hash code and equals method. So whenever we are adding an element to the set, right, hash set, so it will call the hash code method. It will call the hash code method, and if the hash code is same, right, it will call invoke method. Sorry, equals method. So there it will compare the content of that object, and then if it is same, then it will not insert. Otherwise, it will insert into that.
Okay. So suppose like I have two array lists. So I need to there may be duplicate value, but so I am converting to another list. So I need to keep the insertion order. So how will you do that?
Array list follows insertion order only, right?
No, I need to remove the duplicates and then this thing maintain the insertion order.
Okay, we need to remove the duplicates, is it? Okay. Yeah, in that case we can use linked hash set, so that it will follow, it will follow insertion order as well. It will remove the duplicates.
Okay. Okay, suppose like one thing, I will write it in the chat actually. It's like, you know that thing, bitty butter, bitter butter, that tongue twister, right?
Bitty butter?
Bitty butter, she made bought another butter to make it better. That tongue twister.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Or one more.
Okay.
Okay. Have you heard something like this? Like, can you just check your chat?
Okay. Yeah, she sells seashells by the seashore. Okay.
Okay. You can just tell me the logic. Okay. I'm not. I don't want you to write anything. Like, okay. Suppose this is a string. You get. I need you to count all the characters that are coming in this string, and print it in that order.
So we need to count the characters.
Like, you need to count the character and then print it. That characters count in that order itself. Like for in this, like S is the first character that will be coming, right? And then suppose they want to see, suppose there's 7, I think. S now second is H, so this count will be like 2 or 3, 4, I think. So something like that. Yeah. I just need the logic. I don't need to write anything. You can just tell me some logic.
Sorry, I did not understand the problem. Statement here. So S means 7.
Like in this string, you're counting all the characters.
Okay.
So when you count the
okay, character count. S. Character count, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Shall I share my screen? I'll write it in the notepad.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Okay, so you're able to see the screen?
No. Yeah, now yes.
Okay. Yes, so okay, so yeah, we can use the hash map of a string, integer. By the end of this, this character map, count map will be having like key as the character. Let's say yes. Okay. And the value will be the count of that character, how many times it has appeared. Because so what we are doing here is, first we are creating the string as a key and integer as a map, integer as a value, and we are iterating through each character in the string. And if that character is there in the map, right, if it is there, then we are getting that value of that key, and then we are incrementing and storing it to the same map. Okay, so that it will override, count will be overridden. And if it is the first time, right, then it will add that character, and just we are putting 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, it's okay. So my doubt is, what will be the order of the results?
Order, it's not a fixed order. It will be hash map, means it is we cannot predict the order.
Okay. Okay. Suppose I need the result in the order in which the character occurs. Like S is the first letter, so I need a S.
Yeah, we can have the linked hash map here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. I have done with the interview. So, do you have any questions?
No, Jishnu.
Okay. So, one more thing. So what is your notice period?
I'm currently serving notice period, and my last working day is on 27th of this month, October. Yeah,
It's another this month.
It's
Oh.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Srivan. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Jishnu. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Yeah, bye.
Okay. We can leave the call.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.